Welcome to Gloria's Gab Live. I have with me today two delightful people. One is a dear old friend, Becky Matkov, and Becky is the forum. They're both with the villagers. So the forum,
Saving Places from the Risk of Climate Change Forum.
okay,
Chairman.
it's a long name. And the other one is Carmen Diaz Padron. And Carmen is, lucky her, she is the villagers' chair of the Tour of the Gardens.
Yes, it's our annual spring fundraiser, and it is the garden tour.
Right, and it's coming up March 8th. So we're gonna learn all about that and this program they're doing at the museum coming up. Before we start, we need to thank South Florida PBS. South Florida PBS sponsors the show every week. God bless you. And if you're a member, which I'm sure you two are, you get one of these magazines every month. Tell you everything that's happening. There's lots of great shows coming up, and the Da Vinci immersive art experience is still going on up in Boynton Beach, and it's magnificent. If you haven't had a chance to go see it, it's going to be running through the end of April. So,
good.
A great thing to take kids if you have grandkids, or you know people that have children. It's an educational experience, so it's good for adults, for all ages.
Those are amazing. Those
and they have thousands of kids that have already experienced the exhibit. They got underwriting from, I think, one of the car companies, JM Moran. Is that to help under that? Anyway, let's talk about the garden tour coming up March 8th. Tell me about the homes. First of all, how do you get people to offer their gardens up?
Well, first we want to thank all of our homeowners
exactly
who so generously open up their homes so that all of our guests and all of our ticket holders can enjoy the love of their gardens. These homeowners that open their homes love their gardens. They, when they talk about all the plants and everything they have and how they put it together, you see the passion that they have. So they generously open their homes. How do we find the homes? That is a work of a village. Everyone,
a great chairman.
No,
every year.
everyone has their their feelers out, and we reach out to landscape architects, to realtors, to people who know people, and that's how we found our homes for the past years and for the 2 years that I've been chairing the homes.
Yeah, we've been doing this for what?
You've been doing. This is our 32nd annual garden tour. So they've been doing it for 32 years.
So many gorgeous ones we've had in the past.
Right.
We did a whole book on this Miami's gardens book, showing a lot of the.
And unfortunately, hold on, let's put it up like this so you can see it. Look at this is just an example of one of the homes.
Yeah, beautiful.
But
that were on previous tours.
Previous tours, exactly.
Not for this year's tour.
This year's we've got.
We have.
Tell me about the areas that were.
This year we have 5 spectacular homes. They're in the area of Ponce Davis, which is a little north of 88th and 80th Street. In the south, like a South Core Gables area, and then a little further south in the Gables, down Hammock Oaks and Banyan Lakes. We have a gorgeous home that we have actually been trying to get for 2 years, but they finally are finished, and their garden is spectacular.
Yeah, it is fun for the homeowners, I'm sure, to show off. Because after they've done all this work, they want other people to appreciate it as much as they do.
That's exactly what we have. Is that the homeowners are always there. They're always walking around during the tour, and you can see that they enjoy it. They enjoy talking about all the different plants and everything. And we also, I just want to mention, because we do have with one of the villagers that has been, I don't know how many years she's been with the villagers. She is our botanical advisor.
Oh, really?
Sheila Revelle. And I tell you, without Sheila, I don't think we could, find all these gardens. And she's the one that helps curate them, and she knows every plant that they're, all by names. So we are very lucky to have her also on the committee, and also in writing the brochures. So let me just take a step back. So the ticket holders will purchase their tickets, and then we have these 5 spectacular private homes, and all of the homes will be staffed with docents that will help walk around with the guests, the ticket holders, and we have a brochure that is written up, and it walks them through and explains some of the more unique plants, some of the native plants. There's a lot of native plants that are in these gardens.
It is amazing, the variety of plants. I take pictures. I have got so many, the ones I was running through, mostly pictures of plants, because I said, I have never seen this one before. And that's what's so remarkable about this tour. It's eye-opening for all the variety of plants that you've never seen. You don't see them in a Home Depot or,
very inspiring to want to go
maybe
home and
very tropical garden.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's been a learning experience for me for these plants. Again, I walk around the gardens with Sheila, and she'll just be pointing out all these plants, and I just sit there and go, wait, what was that name? So it's also a learning, it's an educational, because you will receive a brochure, you will have, pictures of more of the unique plants that are in the gardens, and they'll talk about all the unique plants and the native plants that are in the garden. So it's enjoyable, it's educational, they're just beautiful to walk around.
So tell me, I'm a ticket holder, say. What do I do? Where do I go? How does the day begin?
Okay, so the day begins at 10 a.m. And there are 2 check-in stations. One is at one of the private homes on 80th Street and like 55th Avenue and 80th Street, and the other check-in is at our Villagers Boutique at Christ the King Lutheran Church, which is right across the street from Pinecrest Gardens. So they check in right there. They'll receive their wristband, they'll receive their brochure, and the brochure has a map on the back, and then you're on your own, and you can visit the gardens at whatever order you would like, however whatever your pace is.
So, and at Christ the King, you're going to have a bazaar there?
Yes. Amazing bazaar.
And we have
finds there.
Rita Tennyson's pop-up.
So we have
for food.
Yeah, we have Rita Tennyson, which is now the owner of Birdie's Bistro.
Right.
Amazing a chef. And she will be there with a pop-up cafe.
Right.
For food all day long. And then we also have unique vendors. Totally unique vendors.
And orchids for sale.
I was going to say.
Oh, I love the orchids.
I always go home with plants.
You're right. Plants and orchids for sale.
Yeah. Wonderful.
We also have the Villagers Boutique, which has gems and jewelry and baked goods. Yeah, they're already the breads are being baked.
Right,
the best,
so
the best breads. We've been having it out there. Start baking those breads. So
that's
going to be amazing.
Yeah. So you go on the tour,
right?
And it's pretty easy you stagger people, so we're not all going the same time
because there's
everybody the same house. So we're going to different homes.
Correct. Since you can enter through the north side or through the south at the church, everybody will be staggered, and and they're just going to enjoy the event.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. So now, aside from the garden tour, we have another event at the Coral Gables Museum.
Yes,
super interesting.
On March 24th, we're putting on a forum entitled "Saving Places from the Risk of Climate Change," and this we're looking at not only just historic properties, but how can we take preventative measures to mitigate the risk of damage from climate change. Debbie Tackett, who is an architect and the preservation officer for the city of Miami Beach, is going to be one of the speakers on the panel, and she's going to be addressing how cities mitigate the risk of climate change. And of course, we know that Miami Beach has been doing so much with road elevation and pumping, but what other things are need to be addressed? You see that on Key Biscayne. You see that on so many places in the whole Miami-Dade area that where sea level rise is really threatening houses and commercial properties.
Absolutely.
So she's going to address some of those. And then we're going to be saying how can property owners mitigate against the risk of climate change. And Richard Heisenbottle, who is a very renowned architect, of course, who's done so many things, working on plans for the Miami Marine Stadium now, where he was telling me they've actually elevated some of that with the idea of for its future use, having to be raised a little. And then the Deering estate is having a lot of work being done because, of course, the sea level impacts that
big time
with the tidal basin of flooding just when they have a full moon.
Is that right?
So we have he is going to be addressing a lot of things too, that both in your own home, the impact windows or your roofing, how you take care of your roof, and what roofs are best. Are they all equally good if they're attached right? And then tying into the gardens, we're having Dina Bell, the landscape architect for Coral Gables, talk about how landscaping and natural areas can mitigate against climate change. And last year, I was at Fairchild Tropical Garden and heard a lecturer talk about mangoes and how the varieties have varied, that the same ones they planted 40 or 50 years ago do not thrive now if you plant them, because of the changes in the climate and the temperatures and how new species or varieties rather are being developed that are more adaptive for the changing climate. World. Right.
Yeah.
So it's going to be March 24th, 4:30 to 7:30 in the evening, and we're having a wine and cheese from 4:30 to 5, then with the panel discussion.
And it's only $10 a person.
And it's $10.
That's a deal and a half.
Right. I mean, that's the price
Even
of
one
glass of wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it, Coral Gables.
Yeah, you've already made it.
But we do that because we really hope people will they will need to register online through the Coral Gables Museum.
Oh, that's how you do it, through the museum.
Yes, and we figured that's a nice way to encourage people to show up when they say they're going to show up, because we think it's a great opportunity for people to have a nice evening and learn something.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. And I told you, I want to, I think there's women's clubs all over that would have environmental committees, and Rotary does too. All these people
and garden clubs. I mean,
garden clubs. Yeah. Well, they probably get it through Garden Club News or
that's
something.
That's
true. But there are other people that you don't think about necessarily that. Yeah, they got groups of people. They're out there cleaning up neighborhoods and
I might add too, we are scheduling it March 24th because that week is known as Miami Climate Week.
Is it?
So they're trying to emphasize that throughout the community.
Oh, interesting.
So this is a good little tie-in for that.
So getting back to the Villagers.
Yes.
I want you to know the Villagers has helped so many different people, organizations in the community through you fundraise and then you give money back. And for historic preservation, whatever, you've made a ton of donations over the years to the Coral Gables Women's Club, for our clubhouse, and I'm sure you've done many others. You want to talk about it?
So we have the two major fundraisers a year, which is the home tour in December,
which is so fun,
which is amazing.
Yeah.
This December was Shenandoah
Right.
area, and it was very educational. So that was an amazing.
That was different than
different. It
any
was
of
an
the previous years.
Exactly, it was an
Yeah,
educational
right.
experience.
It even included a church.
It did. It included Saint
Yeah, the
Sophia's Greek church,
the Russian Orthodox.
the Russian Orthodox church.
Yeah.
And then the annual garden tour are the two major fundraisers. And then all of the funds that we do, get in from these two tours, we give back in grants.
Right.
So last year we gave out over 150, I think, $1,000 back in grants.
Right.
And since the beginning, 1966, which is when the Villagers were founded,
Right.
we've given out about almost 280 something grants. To
over $1 million.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To different important historical sites,
Right.
and also historical gardens are very important. And that's back in 32 years ago. The concept of the garden tours also began because of our giving back grants to the historical gardens, such as Montgomery, the Kampong, Vizcaya Gardens. The Villagers have given grants to Deering, Fairchild. Also, we've given Fairchild, and all those historical green areas that are so important as part of our legacy.
Right.
Those are also places of education, just like you were saying, that so people can learn about our native plants and our native legacy of green areas. They're just as important as our gorgeous buildings that are historical, that should be preserved.
Yeah, but we have done a lot for historical buildings.
Oh
too.
yeah.
I mean,
historical
I think
buildings.
almost every historic landmark in this whole county has received villager funding.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Well, almost 300. So have we?
I mean,
some several
Deering
times.
Estate, Vizcaya, Barnacle, obvious ones, but
when you have
the
Doc Thomas, the Topical Audubon Society.
I mean,
all of the women's clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an array. The list
and
is
even one
expensive.
of the early ones, the oldest schoolhouse in
I
Coconut
remember
Grove,
that.
right on the grounds of Plymouth Congregational.
Was that the one they moved?
Yes, and that
I
was
remember
a
it.
villager
That's how
project,
long ago we
one
go
of the
back.
very first ones.
How long ago was that? That's how long ago we go back.
In the 70s, probably.
It was. It
Long
was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, what many people probably don't know is that you were the editor of Preservation Today,
for Dave.
and that's how we met each other. And that
I
was
know
in the 70s.
you were recalling that at our party last night.
I went over to her house and I said, "Oh, do you still have rabbits?" Because I remember her daughter, who is
bunny
like
rabbit.
40 something now, is like she had bunny rabbits.
Oh.
Yeah. So I said, "Oh my gosh, that's how far we go back.
Yeah,
Our kids are that old, right?" Yeah.
Gloria's been a great help to everybody ever since.
Well, she has been for all these
thanks.
years.
But anyway, so but that Preservation Day was such a good move. Are they still?
Well, yes, Dade Heritage Trust now is still there. They've hired an editor, and they put it out once a year.
Yeah, right. So,
but we did it.
We did it as volunteers.
Yeah, we did. I was on the board of Dade Heritage Trust and started this magazine, and we got volunteers.
They knew how to suck people in.
We did.
And Dade Heritage Trust was founded from the Villagers.
Yeah, we were talking
Dolly
about that
McIntyre.
Earlier.
Yeah. The Villagers started in '66, and then Dolly pushed for a community-wide co-educational outreach kind of organization. For Dade Heritage Trust, and that was '72.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
So and we've been going strong.
Yeah,
I know
both organizations, and they've complemented each other in many ways.
Yeah, no,
So
it's great when you can have joint events and that kind of stuff. So,
and one thing, I wanted to say too, in addition to the gardens and to the historic buildings, the Villagers have funded a lot of educational things, not only booklets and pamphlets, scholarships for all the universities, FIU and University of Florida, Miami, for students to go into historic preservation. Or it used to be the Preservation Institute in Nantucket, and So that was very exciting.
You know, who's up in historic preservation person up in Gainesville is Kathleen Slesnick.
Yes,
Oh,
and
Yes, right. Of all
she
things,
is.
yeah, yeah.
And the other thing that Villagers done have funded films and documentaries. We did a
Right.
wonderful one on for the Cape Florida Lighthouse.
Yeah.
And also one I was involved when on this land, the Charles Deering Estate, which is shown daily at the Deering Estate. And that was received villager funding, and
Yeah.
so did one for a barnacle documentary. So
Oh,
we've been
Well,
doing
because
a lot of
education
things.
and advocacy is so
I
important,
know. Yeah.
along with giving out the grants and the scholarships. So all of this is very
you have a
important to
broad-
educate the people.
Yeah, you have a broad outreach
Yeah.
Area, which is really great. Yeah, and it makes it fun to volunteer
Yes, it's
for an
a very,
organization
and
that's doing so many good things.
and I think that to the villagers' credit, it is all volunteer. There's no staff. Everything is
There's
done.
no building.
There's no
I know.
building, no staff.
Which is why you're able to give away so much money.
which is why
and
we're able to give it almost,
How many members do you have now?
well, we have about 200 and something members, including our active members and our sustaining members.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it is amazing.
And it's open to anyone who wants to just go online, and you can
So
join.
It's easy to join.
So yeah, and it's
and is there
it's
a
great.
membership fee kind of
Well,
thing?
we do
What
have
is
there
it?
is a membership dues,
Yeah.
but we're very welcoming.
Yeah.
You go online to the thevillagersinc.org. That's also where you can purchase your garden tour tickets if you,
Oh,
if you
good
need to.
point.
I forgot to say that.
Good move.
Thevillagersinc.org. But there you'll also have to become a member, and you
Okay.
just fill out an application
Okay.
and submit it. And we have an amazing membership committee who
Right.
will respond to you. We're a one-on-one. It's
Right.
not a very large organization, so it's one-on-one. They'll have
Well, I think a lot of people would take exception and say, if you have over 200 members, you've got a relatively big organization.
well, yeah, but it's
for a
small
local
enough
organization.
to be one-on-one. It's
Exactly.
It's
No,
it's
I get
very
it.
one-on-one, and
Yeah.
we are a hardworking organization. So we're
Yeah.
looking for
People
new
that
members that are passionate about historic preservation
Right.
of educating the public, who want to work, and they have committees that they can join. They have we have a lot of events. We meet at different historical sites. That's what we do. Our monthly meetings are at
Oh, you have a
different-
monthly meeting?
we have monthly
Okay.
meetings at different historical
With great
sites.
programs, generally.
Great
Yeah.
programs, and we have
So
guest
it's,
speakers at every event. So as you get to the monthly meetings and you learn. So it's a
That's great.
it's a very inviting
Well,
organization. If you
When you do
work hard.
programs too, it's a great way to attract people who are
Yeah.
interested in
Yeah,
your
it's
mission.
array of things. Yes.
Yeah. So believe it or not, you thought 25 minutes was going to be a long time, but it's not.
Okay.
It goes
We
quickly.
have
right.
2 minutes left.
Okay.
So your last pitch, you want people to go to your program at the the Coral Gables Museum.
Coral Gables Museum, March 24th, 4:30 to 7:30.
Right.
Saving places from the risk of climate change.
Not only great programs, you get a glass of wine and some,
That's
some
right.
goodies.
Wine
And it's
a
only
little
$10 a
hors d'oeuvre
person.
and
$10
best
a
deal in
person.
town.
You cannot beat that.
I'm not going to be able to beat that one.
Well, no, yours costs a little bit
A
more,
little bit more. So,
but it
March
is a
8th
longer day.
It's a longer day. March 8th from 10 to 3 is the garden tour. 10 to 4 is the boutique is open.
Mm.
There's a pop-up cafe. Tickets are $50. And they're at thevillagersinc.org, and that's where you can buy your tickets.
Okay, great.
And we also want to thank you, Gloria, for having the villagers on today.
Are you kidding?
Well, thank you.
Thank you
'cause
for
I
everything
love you
you've done,
guys, you know,
today and every day. I mean, you're great.
I so appreciate this organization because I've seen, being a member of the General Federation of Women's Clubs. I mean, how many women's clubs have you helped? I don't know. I know what you've done for mine, but I know
Certainly
we've got
Coconut
so many
Grove,
historic
we've done a lot to-
Coconut Grove, Cocoa
Cocoa
Plum,
Plum,
the
Coral
Miami
Gables,
Women's
Miami
Club,
Shores.
Miami Shores too.
Yeah, Miami.
Well, see, I didn't
no,
even know
excuse
that.
not Miami,
Miami
Shores.
Springs.
Miami Springs.
Yeah.
Miami,
Miami
just
Springs.
had a
well,
meeting
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Because there isn't a Miami Shores.
Yeah.
And the Miami Women's Club,
Yes, over the years.
that's got to be because but that took forever for them to reopen. They wanted to
yeah.
knock it down. So Yeah. So the work you've done in the community has been amazing. So I thank you both for coming today and for
Our
spreading the
pleasure.
word. And I'll look forward to seeing you at the garden tour.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Look forward to
All
seeing
right.
And
you.
the
Thank you.
forum.
And the
With
forum.
web.
And the forum. Don't forget that. Okay. So again, thank you all for tuning in today. And thank you, Carmen and Becky. Make every day a good one. Make a difference and be safe, be kind, be generous, and attend the garden tour.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.